Monica Williams stepped out of the Bentley into the warble of Lagos midday, a queen in a cream jumpsuit, her heels clacking like gunfire on cracked tar. The crowd, silent as a grave, watched her cut through the heat, her gaze fixed on a ragged figure among the empty crates. Jacob Uke shrank there, streaked with dust, his knotted beard shadowing a face the city had forgotten. Hungry eyes followed Monica, but she saw only him. She stopped so close he stiffened, the stench of old rain and city gutters clinging to his jacket. Monica's voice slipped out quiet, meant for him alone. "My name is Monica." Jacob blinked hard. Jacob. Jacob Uke. Her hands trembled, but her chin rose. "Will you marry me?" It split the afternoon. The city froze, a jaw dropped in a roadside booth, engine revs died. Jacob stared like he'd been slapped. He pressed a hand to his chest, shook his head, let the silence stretch. "If you mean it," his voice dry as gravel, "by a ring inside. Kneel like you believe it." Gasps spiked through the crowd, a rich woman debasing herself. Monica turned on her heel, dust swirling. 5 minutes later she appeared, holding a ring that caught the sun, expensive enough to buy the whole street. She knelt, ring outstretched, voice trembling. "Jacob Uke. Will you marry me?" Photographers lifted phones, a mother pressed her mouth shut. Jacob looked down, at dirt, at disbelief, at all the years he'd watched himself disappear. His whisper landed softer than a prayer. "Yes." She slid on the ring, took his hand, and murmured, "Now get in the car." He shook his head, glancing at his soaked trousers. "I'll stain your seat." "I don't care." Jacob rose, his legs stiff, like a dead man rising, one wary step after another toward the shining car. Monica opened the door. He ducked inside, carrying nothing but a ripped bag and the ache of the life he was leaving. The Bentley glided to Victoria Island, the city sparkling behind glass as Monica pressed forward, hands sure on the wheel. Not a word was spoken, but Jacob gripped his bag like a lifebuoy between shipwrecks. He flinched at each polished intersection, lost in the strangeness of hope. "We're making a quick stop," Monica said. He nodded, eyes forward. They parked outside a grooming palace, marble, gold, mirrors catching stars even at noon. Monica swept inside, never once letting Jacob lag. "He's with me." At her word, stylists leapt into motion, clippers buzzing. Jacob sat unmoving as grease and sorrow slid away, the beard, the mat of hair, the years. When he stared into the mirror, his jawline sharp and his eyes suddenly fierce, it rocked him. A stylist held out fresh clothes. "Sir, your clothes." Jacob hesitated. Slipped into the shirt and trousers, they felt forbidden. When he stepped out, Monica's breath caught. "Now that's the man I saw." For a moment, Jacob's voice stuck. "I feel like I just came back to life." Monica's lips broke into the beginning of a smile. "You haven't seen anything yet." The Bentley rolled on, then stopped before a mansion wrapped in white glass and palm trees. The gates opened in slow-motion reverence. Jacob stumbled out, staring up at the house and the fountain where a golden retriever barked. "This is your house." "No," Monica said. "It's our home now." Inside, the air shimmered with vanilla and lavender. Art from 100 kingdoms gleamed along walls. Crystal chandeliers dripped light. On the stairs, a sleepy child with curls and wide eyes. "Who's that?" Monica stooped. Sophia, say hi to our guest. His name is Jacob. He's going to spend time with us now. Sophia blinked at Jacob. Are you a good person? Jacob's answer was only half a lie. I'm trying to be. She nodded. Then you can stay. No scary stories at night. That night, his guest room seemed an impossible dream, pillows soft, dinner hot, the balcony a ring of city lights. Monica joined him, 2 glasses of wine in hand. She waited, letting silence wrap them. Who are you, Jacob? He stared long at his hands, the diamond glinting next to old calluses. I was once the best data scientist in Lagos. Had a wife, 2 kids. We lived for each other, until a plane crash left me with only my name. After that, I walked away from my whole life and never came back. Her voice shook. I know that pain. Lost my parents in a crash, too. My husband vanished while Sophia was still crawling. For years, hope kept me waiting. Jacob regarded her with new awe. You built all this after? I had to, for Sophia and for me. Jacob looked ahead, jaw hard. You're a fighter. So are you, Monica answered, and the cicadas filled in her silence. Jacob let the city breath carry him. For the first time, he wanted not just to live, but to rise again. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, his body remembering beds, dreams, the sense of being held by a world that meant him no harm. The future throbbed at the edge of sleep. I will never go back. Jacob awoke to a world scrubbed of grime, no gutter water, no speed avocados. Just sunlight slicing through silk curtains, bread baking below. For a moment, he trembled, sure the vision would vanish. Then Sophia's small voice broke the spell. Good morning, Mr. Jacob. Mommy said breakfast is ready. He managed a smile. And you can call me Uncle Jacob. He dressed slowly, ran a hand over his new face, and walked downstairs. Monica sat by the dining table, laptop open, face warm. Morning, she said. The table glittered with eggs, bread, papera, and fresh juice. I hope you're hungry, she said. He blinked, voice rough. It's been a long time. She closed the laptop. Eat up. You'll need your strength. He looked up, startled. Why? Are we leaving? You're starting work today, Monica replied. Jacob nearly choked. I didn't propose to you out of pity. M-Tech needs you. I see a mind wasting. You were once the best. I haven't worked in years, he protested. Instinct returns. Skill doesn't vanish. Sometimes a man just needs to be called by his real name. He stared down at his plate, hands shaking, a little hope blooming after years of drought. That afternoon, Monica led Jacob into the glass-walled tower that housed M-Tech. Staff in branded shirts parted as she swept through. Eyes turned, whispers hissed. Who was this man? Bodyguard? Driver? But on the executive floor, Monica opened a spacious officer's door, a large placard waiting on the desk. Head of Data Intelligence, Mr. Uke. Jacob froze, his own name bringing him to the edge of tears. This is for me. From today, you're head of Data Intelligence. You'll work under me. He hesitated, then stepped inside. The office was a cathedral of glass and chrome, charts and hopes. He was rusty, yes. The software had changed. The codes and models felt strange under his hands. But a mind, once sharpened, finds its edge again. Within a week, his instincts began to roar awake. Company losses shrank, insights bloomed. Monica watched through the glass, pride, relief, and something like fear in her expression. One afternoon, she knocked, holding a file. "You just saved us $250 million, she said, arms folded. He gaped. "I was just doing my job." "That's what makes you great." He blinked, feeling the room tilt with gratitude he could barely hold. "You don't have to thank me. Just keep being you." The days rolled into weeks. Jacob grew sharp, fierce. He gave talks, mentored analysts, retaught the world what he'd almost forgotten himself. Monica laughed brighter, worked less after dusk, made time for evenings on the balcony, 2 glasses of wine, stories of hopes rebuilt. Sophia sat tucked under their arms, eating jollof or listening. One stormy night, Monica asked, "Why did you say yes that day?" Jacob smiled. "Honestly, I thought you were mad." She laughed, almost in relief. "But there was something in your eyes. I didn't know if it was courage or just hope. But I needed it." He turned gentle. "Truth is, I didn't believe you, that's why I made you kneel." "But you knelt." Monica's head tilted, the memory bright. "And now?" He took her hand. "Now, I know you're an angel in disguise." She flushed. Silence filled with the hush of distant traffic. Later, as the sun bled out behind the city, Jacob rose on the rooftop with a velvet ring in hand. Monica startled when he knelt, this time in the hush of family and staff, the city pouring gold behind them. He didn't tremble. "I didn't believe in anything when you found me. You made me believe. Now I want to do it right. Monica Williams, will you marry me?" Tears sprung to her eyes. "Yes. 1,000 times yes." Sophia jumped and squealed. Monica put out her hand, and now, at last, Jacob's trembling fingers found home. Their wedding blanketed Lagos in celebration, dignitaries, celebrities, tech giants crowded under banners that read, "A love written by grace." But inside Monica and Jacob, the world was still and slow, their hands locked like roots holding firm through the storm. Monica's life turned again, this time not on roadsides or boardrooms, but in the gentle swell of her belly as she hummed in the kitchen months later. Jacob watched her, eyes bright. "You look like a dream I never thought I'd have again." She smiled, touching her stomach. "I thought the same." Soon a baby was born, a boy, Williams Chinedu, a sunrise on old pain. Years unspooled. Sophia, all grown, donned her white coat at the University of Nigeria, the youngest doctor in her class. Jacob and Monica stood at her side as a young man, Oina, approached, bold and sincere. What began as science chats swelled into love, and, before long, a wedding, another ring, and a home expanded. Monica watched her daughter beam up the aisle. Jacob wept silent tears. Proverb come true, when the roots are deep, storms cannot shake the tree. Reunions brought joy. Sophia delivered Monica's first granddaughter, Amarachi, into the world, God's grace. Laughter dared echo again in hallways where sorrow once slept. Jacob, older now, stood by Monica's side on the balcony, watching children play under gold light. In his arms, Amarachi. In the air, hope, bold and quiet, the kind born of long pain. Time gave them honors, Teka's legacy, humanitarian awards, the glitter of recognition. Yet the greatest gift came one night when Monica gathered her family. "I want to start the Uche Foundation," she said. "A place for second chances." Jacob's eyes burned. "After me?" "After us." Soon, the foundation burst alive, dorms, classes, a new world for the forgotten. Old beggars, widow teachers, orphaned coders, all rising around the rallying cry, "Your story isn't over yet." Decades passed. Monica and Jacob sat on a sun-dappled bench, tired hands entwined, watching laughter echo across the lawn. "I thought God forgot me," Jacob whispered once. "Now, I see, he was just preparing me for here." Monica pressed her head to his shoulder. Everything was leading to this. Just then, little Amarachi ran with a drawing, Monica kneeling before Jacob, above it the words, "Love begins where pride ends." Beneath the last flare of the sunset, Monica gazed at the fire's dying glow, love old and bold, warming everything that remained.